I welcome everybody. Th we we do have a big program today, and it will be infinitely more exciting if you participate by asking questions, because otherwise it's going to be me basically filling out a form, and who wants to watch that? That's a little bit boring, right? And so even for me, it's a little bit boring.
Yeah.
But so I'm going to encourage you, please, as we go along, ask questions. It's the spice of life, and the way we go. Okay, so we're going to be dealing today specifically with family law financial statements. Okay. And, even when I was putting this together, I had to stop myself. We're not talking about financial disclosure. We're actually talking about the financial statements today, which is a subset within the disclosure. And it's almost like very narrowly we're going to be looking at it. And of course, I can't do anything narrow. It's really a big problem of mine. So I do have to provide context, but not a lot. And what we are intending on doing is actually going through a financial statement, specifically the Form 13.1, but we're also going to look at the Form 13 to see how it all lines up. Okay, this series that we're doing, like today's session, is actually part of a bigger session, of a series of sessions that we've been doing. And where in this timeline of a family law case will you find the financial statements? And the answer is right at the beginning for the applicant, even before you even start the case, right? The applicant has to complete a financial statement as part of making their financial claims, and I have to specify that, financial claims. And that's before the case even starts. The respondent is right after they receive the documents. They technically have 30 days to put their financial statement together if they're responding to financial claims or if they're making their own financial claims. So that is the spot. And I used to think, the applicant has all the time in the world and the respondent has very little time in the world, right? And I always felt bad for the respondent, right? Because they're really in reaction mode. But I've matured a bit, and the applicant, sometimes cases are very of a sudden, the separation is very sudden, and there may be some urgent parenting issues especially, or even financial issues. I'll give you an example of an urgent parenting issue, such as a child abduction kind of situation, or relocation without permission on the one hand. And then on the financial side, there's always the risk that that somebody is depleting their finances or moving things around such that they're going to make themselves judgment proof. So the applicant may actually not have as much time as you may think, because they're even before the timeline starts, right? But certainly the respondent is tight on time. And this form is not simple to put together, as we all know, or else we wouldn't be watching this video, and we wouldn't be sitting here on a Sunday. And the goal here is to help you get this financial statement done, not necessarily the financial statement that you're going to be relying on at trial. And there's a difference, because you really are meant to be updating your financial statement as we go along, and we'll deal with that at the very end about updating. Okay, so right before the case conference stage, if there's a motion, that's why this little standalone little circle over here, before the settlement conference and before trial, are mandated times to update your financial statement. But again, we're focusing at first instance when you're going to be putting together your financial statement. Okay, so today's agenda, most of it is going to be on number 4, tips on completing each section of the form. But let's just go through one from the top. What is a financial statement really? Setting yourself up for success. Okay, we're going to not spend a lot of time on that. Selecting the correct form, also not going to spend so much time. Going through the form, that's number 4, and then updating the form. Okay, and of course, as we go along, if you have questions, please ask. And if you're watching this video in the recorded form and you still have questions, please ask. My email address is sstern@disclosureclinic.com, SSTERN@disclosureclinic.com. Happy to answer questions. Okay, in the materials folder that Heather would have already circulated, or as part of this program, you're going to find a number of documents that are hopefully very helpful. The first set is blank lawyer form. I call them lawyer forms because it's what the Word documents that lawyers use, which are different somewhat in the formatting than what you would find on the Ministry of Attorney General's forms website. They're much easier to edit. Now, from the lawyer's perspective, we're able to calculate also the totals. Unfortunately, they don't have a macro that's publicly available. I think that's actually a big problem in our industry, that there should be a calculatable financial statement. So that's for another day. However, at least to help you in completing the form, the lawyer blanks of the financial statements are provided. I also decided that it would be helpful to see some little precedent and also a working document on a updating affidavit that you're allowed to do. Okay, so as part of the updating for those little circles we showed before. Back in the day, when I started Disclosure Clinic, I decided I was going to actually make a mock financial statement. And so we're actually going to be working kind of off of that. And I've included that. What I've done in that financial statement, and you'll see it's from COVID time, is I took the Law Society's precedent that you could still find online. However, theirs is from 2004. And it's an old form. The form has changed since then. So I decided I was going to bring the parties from the Law Society's form, and I'm going to bring it into the future. And so that's what the completed forms. If you want to see what it could look like, what's a little different about that form than what you have to do is that I actually, in my desire to see like the future of how we could make this a better process, you'll see that there are links on the form to the documents. Okay, like directly to show there are sample documents. They're a little bit blurry on purpose. And the point is that you can not just see the how to fill out the form, but also the underlying documents that are expected. Okay. Lastly, there are a couple of posters that you can find on my website. One is about which financial statement to use, and also for updating the disclosure. You'll take a peek of it as we go through that in this presentation. But I wanted you to have it easily accessible. You'll see they're very, I think, helpful. Lastly, these presentation slides with all the links that you may find in that, including the materials folder link, will be provided. I usually upload it after the initial session because sometimes there are mistakes in it, and so I want to make sure that I upload the correct version. Okay.